This is the Toyota LandCruiser 300 series. This is actually the Sahara spec, one of the upper grades in the 300 series lineup. If you're looking for luxury and refinement as well as real four-wheel driving capability and towing ability, then this sets the bar, and it sets it pretty damn high. Some people have called the LandCruiser the king of four-wheel drives, but is it really? Or has the crown slipped just a little bit? Well, that's what we're here to find out, so stick around. The Sahara has a manufacturer suggested retail price of just over $130,000, and that's before on-road costs. That is a fair amount of cash in anyone's books, but you do get a lot for your money. Standard features include this 12.3-inch multimedia touchscreen system, and you do get Apple CarPlay, SatNav and Android Auto. There's a wireless phone charger, and there's a 14-speaker sound system, and a whole bunch more that I won't go into here. But for even more details on this vehicle, make sure you read my full written review at CarsGuide.com.au. In terms of looks, the Sahara has that identifiable generic Land Cruiser appearance. It's chunky, and the other good thing is it's ready for plenty of accessories, whether they're Toyota genuine accessories or you go to the aftermarket. You could throw a bull bar on this thing, side steps, roof racks, whatever you want, it's ready to go. And as for exterior paint jobs, well, there's the usual suspects, although the names are a little bit fancier, like Merlot Red and Graphite, which is this colour. The Sahara interior has a real premium feel about it, and you'd want it to at this price point. The front seats are very comfortable, they're power adjustable, and in terms of everything else, charge points, storage places, you are well catered for. Second row, same again, you get plenty of charge points, and those seats are pretty damn comfortable. But third row gets a little bit squeezy. Still, there's a fair bit of room, and it's not so much for kids only, but if I was an adult back there, I'd want it to be a pretty short trip. As with most large four-wheel drive wagons, there's generally a bit of space for your cargo. At the back, I've put down seats 6 and 7 here, the rearmost seats, just to give myself a bit more room, just to get in those max tracks, which are kind of long and bulky, and I've also got a vehicle recovery kit, first aid kit, that sort of thing. Not a lot of gear, but it fits in fine with those seats down. In the cargo area, you do get 4 sturdy looking tie-down points if you want to lash that gear down to stop it moving around when things get bumpy, and you've also got a 220-volt power socket. Every 300 series has a 3.3 litre V6 twin-turbo diesel engine, and that produces 227 kilowatts and 700 newton metres. It has a 10-speed automatic transmission, high and low range four-wheel drive gearing, and a centre diff lock. This combination is really good, smooth, effective, works really well. There was quite a lot of whinging a few years back when Toyota announced it would replace the V8, which was a good engine, with the V6, but people needn't have worried because this produces more power, more torque, and according to Toyota, fuel consumption is a little bit better than in the V8. And there's no need for anyone to have been worried because the LandCruiser 300 series continues the tradition of being a hardcore off-roader. This really is a complete four-wheel drive. There is plenty of power and there is plenty of torque, that's for sure. 700 newton meters in fact, and that's available across quite a nice spread of revs. Low range gearing is really solid in the 300 series, and on top of all that, you can tap into all of that driver assist tech. And the traction control system has really been calibrated. It's really been fine-tuned, and it's very precise and it's very seamless in its functioning. And the 300's multi-terrain select driving modes gives you the option of cycling through modes like sand and mud and rock to suit the terrain you're on. And what they do is they tweak the throttle, they tweak engine output to really maximize everything to give you the best chance possible of tackling that obstacle and getting through safely and in a controlled fashion. And the 300 series certainly does that. Off-road angles are pretty decent. Ground clearance is 235 mil and wading depth is listed as 700 mil. So all in all, in terms of measurements that are suited to four-wheel driving, hardcore low-range four-wheel driving, the LandCruiser 300 series ticks all of those boxes. And what's more, the 10-speed automatic transmission is very clever. In fact, I'll give you the drum, I reckon it's cleverer than you, because it's never cycling through ratios to try and find the sweet spot. It's always there. And while the 300 series is a big vehicle, it's a big unit, there's no denying that, it does feel pretty nimble in the bush, even in squeezed in tracks or tight approaches to hills or creek crossings, that sort of thing. And as well as a real dialed in off-road traction control system and all of those driving modes, it also has things like turn assist control and crawl control, which is really like a cruise control but at very low speeds when you're doing low range, low speed four-wheel driving. In terms of towing capacity, the 300 series can tow 750 kilograms unbraked and 3,500 kilograms braked. There's no getting past that this really is well suited to four-wheel driving. It makes an awesome platform as a touring vehicle, because there are plenty of accessories available from Toyota and from the Australian aftermarket scene. So really with the 300 you start with a very good standard touring platform, and you can build that up to be a great touring platform. Really the only thing you need to change about the 300 series are its tyres. The Bridgestone Duelers, they aren't terrible by any means, but they aren't suited to hardcore four-wheel driving, and if you're going to do that, then you'll need a more aggressive set of tyres. But that's an easy fix. Official fuel consumption is listed as 8.9 litres per 100 kilometres, and that's on a combined cycle. On this test we recorded 12.8 litres per 100 kilometres, and that's fairly reasonable, especially considering we did do a lot of low range four-wheel driving. Going by those fuel consumption figures, you could likely expect a driving range of about 860 kilometres, and that's out of a full tank. And in this, that's an 80 litre main tank and a 30 litre sub tank. The Sahara has the maximum 5-star ANCAP safety rating, and that's from testing in 2022. As standard, it has 10 airbags and a comprehensive suite of driver assist tech, including AEB adaptive cruise control and trailer sway control. But remember, for even more details on this vehicle, make sure you read my full written review at carsguide.com.au. The 300 series is covered by a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty. Cap pricing applies to the first 10 services, and they are $375 a pop, but make sure you check with your Toyota dealer before you take my word for it, because they may have changed. Service intervals are set at 6 months or 10,000 kilometres, whichever comes soonest. The 300 series LandCruiser in Sahara spec is a very impressive 7-seater four-wheel drive wagon. It's nice to drive, it's refined, and the good news is it retains that legendary LandCruiser off-road capability. It's very comfortable, and as with previous generation LandCruisers, there is a heap of potential to turn this into an awesome touring vehicle. But it does have the price tag to match, there's no denying that. And while there is a lot to like about the Sahara, I'd opt for the mid-spec GXL, because while you're giving away a bit of fancy schmancy stuff, you're not losing any of the real effective hardcore four-wheel driving stuff. But what do you reckon? Have your say in the comments section below. And remember, for even more details on this vehicle, make sure you read my full written review at carsguide.com.au.